This time I will call to order the Hamilton County Council meeting for Wednesday, April 7th. Madam Auditor, may I have a roll call, please?
Yes, Brad Beaver.
Here.
Fred Glenn is absent. Amy Massalomney.
Present.
Steve Schwartz.
Present.
Steve Nation.
Present.
Ken Alexander.
Present.
Sue Mackey.
Present.
Madam President, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. I will ask the invocation and pledge of allegiance be given by Councilor Mackey, please.
Let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity you give to us to help us lead our county into the future and help our citizens. We ask that you be with all of our citizens as we work through this pandemic, and we thank you especially for the new Humane Society that had its ribbon cutting today. In your name we pray, amen. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. At this time, the reading and approval of the council regular meeting from March 3rd.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
And reading and approving of the joint minutes from February 23rd.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to public comments. Are there any public comments? Seeing none, we'll move on to committee and officer reports. I do have a couple of things. Councilor Mackey, Councilor Schwartz, Councilor Beaver, and myself did attend the ribbon cutting today for the Humane Society of Hamilton County, and I have to say it's an incredible facility. So if you do get the opportunity to see it, we're very, very lucky. So at all the hard work that went into that. So thank you to the rest of the council members that were able to attend as well. A couple of things from a scheduling perspective. Reminder, we do have the joint session on the 23rd at 10:30. I need a head count of who will be in person and who will be virtual. Person.
In person.
I should be in person.
Most likely virtual.
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 Okay, so we have Dan. There will be 4 in person and 3 virtual. Robin will be in person. So we are good. So 10:30 as a reminder on the 23rd. In addition, it is official that the groundbreaking for the parking garage will be May 10th at 10 a.m. Dan Stevens will send out additional information as we approach. We did have, on the ERP system, we are moving on to the next phase. I believe there are 5 vendors. It's pretty exciting. There's 5 vendors that I think are going to go into demonstrations. So just keeping you up to date there. 2 other things. Steve Wood, I had asked him to compile like ongoing current projects for buildings and grounds. He did send me that today. Thank you again so much for doing so. I'm happy to share that with all of you. I did send this round. He's going to send it monthly. So I'll keep you guys up to date. And then lastly, I know Danielle Carey-Tolan is here. And last month, I apologize, we did not ask for an update, but we'd love to have a quick update as far as the emergency rental assistance funds.
I put them over there.
Awesome, thanks.
They were on their own island over here.
Perfect, thank you.
Just a quick update on the Hamilton County Emergency Rental Assistance Program. I'm not going to read the entire report because you guys can read very well. We've had a total of 615 cases, and in the first day we had 455 cases that applied. So we opened up on March 15th. Since April 1st, we have approximately about 10 to 15 cases that come in on a regular basis. There's some stats there, but some of the big items on the back side for you guys. We have, let's see here, because these are small numbers. I should have brought my glasses today. We've already awarded 120 cases out of those. The rest of those, either they're waiting for a match from the landlord, they've been closed because they were duplicated, or they're in process currently through case management or supervisor. If we total everything for requested and what we've already paid out, we're over $1 million currently on that. And then call center data, we have probably about 980 calls currently that have come into the call center about the program. The rest of the stats are about marketing and social media and what we've done on those aspects. Any questions?
I have a question. So as far as, so checks have been sent to, in the total amount, just to make sure I understand your data here. So 312,000 has already been sent.
Correct.
Under those cases.
Yep.
Okay. That's great.
Yeah, those have sent directly from our office.
Great. Awesome. Anybody else have any questions?
I have none. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you so much.
Danielle.
Yep.
That is all for me, Mr. Vice President.
Just one item. Myself and Council Beaver have been attending and meeting with Mayor and City Council members of Noblesville on the Pleasant Street Extension / Bridge Project. I attended one of those meetings, and I'd like to hand these out just so we can keep everybody updated on the Pleasant Street Bridge. Allison Krupski, the engineer for the City of Noblesville, Brad Davis, and some of his staff were there as well. So thank you for attending. Kim, here's a couple.
Is that all for you, sir?
And that's all I have. Thank you.
Highway,
We did not meet.
Finance,
No meeting.
Personnel. It was a poll, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
And anything under miscellaneous.
I have one item. I believe the RFP for the audit was advertised today, so I just wanted to make note of that.
Thank you very much. Anything else? Seeing none, we will move on to unfinished. Council board appointments, we still do not have an appointment for Sheridan Economic Development. I'm not sure if anybody has come up with anybody since.
I've put a few feelers out to some people I know in the Sheridan area, but have not received a willing volunteer yet.
Okay. So that will stay. And then on the paperwork that was not returned for our appointments for soil and water and alcoholic beverage, I will reach out to Mike Colby regarding Alcoholic Beverage Commission. I believe Mr. Woodard,
I reached out to him today, and he responded that that with his work that he could not provide the time to fulfill that commitment, and would like to back out.
okay. So then at the next meeting, would we be prepared, I guess at this point, unless somebody has, Ken, I don't know, I doubt you have somebody, maybe you do.
At this point, I will attend the meeting until we can find a replacement.
Okay.
Thank you, Ken.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so we will move on. You don't need a motion or anything from the standpoint of, okay. No tabled business, new business, approval of vendor claims. Do you have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item B, Resolution CC 04-07-2021-01, a resolution concerning the purchase of real estate for the Mary Wilson Drain Project.
So moved.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. This time we'll move on to 2022 budget instructions. We do need to adopt those budget instructions. Is there a motion?
Move to adopt.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Yes. Could we include on that to add any kind of instructions that we're going to give to the office holders after our April 23rd meeting concerning the stimulus money? In other words, if there's something that they think that they could possibly use or something that they could use the money in, to at least go ahead and report back to us what they think.
See, I don't think that correlates with budget instructions.
Okay?
If we come up with something that has, that we feel like us and the commissioners applies to this one or that one, I think we'd make a personal visit or communication with that department. Look, you may fit into that. I don't think we want individual departments interpreting
No,
there's that.
I guess what I was thinking is after the April the 23rd, we would give direction as to what we expected or what areas we expected. And again, I don't know every department within Hamilton County, so I can't tell you how they use their budgets or what they lost within their budgetary year. So that would be the only reason. It would be after we gave, that's why I wanted to wait until after the April 23rd.
I'm just wondering if, because I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, if we think after the 23rd, I think we would have direction. I guess if there was a way in order to quote unquote advertise, if there are departments or organizations, I guess that could come to us. But I don't know that I think it correlates with budgets per se. I
And
see
not
what you're
only that-
saying, but I think it's separate. And
not
correct
only
us
that,
if,
I'm not sure that we will have definitive answers after the 23rd.
well, money's available, what? The
May.
first, May 12th, right?
I think we're supposed to receive it the 10th.
So I guess I would defer to the auditor. In your opinion, would it be best to leave these two separate, or do you see?
I think they should be separate, and then like you say, after that meeting, then we could send something to the departments if you wish. I do know that right now Reuter and I have been working on the lost revenue aspect of that. And so, you know, so there, Parks Department, 4-H rental, things like that, we're gathering that information now, so.
I guess I just think through, if we're planning for 2022, right? When you think through that, this would be more of a 2021 kind of catch up. I'm not opposed to whatever council would like to do.
The only reason I brought it up, I don't know the departments that well, but I can tell you they lost, or they had to restructure, or they had to get other equipment, or they had to do something else different within their department because of COVID. And if they had to change everything, I still don't know what we can ask for reimbursement on and what we can go ahead and do. So I thought at that point, I'd like to tell them, this is what we're considering at least, for you to think about it, because again, they may have restructured totally how they do it. I know some of the not-for-profits had to totally restructure how they were doing things. And I know even within the department, I know the clerk's office had to change how they even do marriage licenses. So,
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to sending out
If you're
information
gonna-
separately
Send
for
a separate memo.
after the 23rd, so it's
That's
sent
fine.
within that week.
that's fine.
And from there, I guess we can handle
Because
it.
they did receive their 19 and 20 budget just like it was approved. So,
Okay,
I guess we could, in
And
that letter,
21, so, and 21 too,
21,
so
yeah. So,
address the shortfalls if you have any in your department.
that's what I think we should do, and keep them separate, because I think if you think through it, we've still got quite a bit of time between now and budget hearings. I'd rather that those would be heard sooner versus later, right? Does anybody, do you guys have an opinion in that regard?
I see what Counselor Nation's saying, that this is the time we're looking at money, and ask the department directors to do it while they're looking at money. But there is, you hit the nail on the head, there's gonna be a big time gap, and so we're gonna be needing to move on some things quicker than that, so probably absolutely two different.
So I'll ensure that we work with the commissioners in order to formulate the language to send out then after that meeting, and we'll ensure that departments are hit, even ones that we may not know in our purview per se. So, is that okay? Are you comfortable
oh,
with
no,
that?
I'm comfortable with that.
Okay.
I just wanted to be sure that the office holders were
Makes sense.
included.
Absolutely. Okay, so we do have, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next, we'll move on to item D, grant appropriations and transfers. You will see 6 of those.
I'll make a motion that we combine all 6 grant
I second.
appropriations or transfers.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, I will move on to,
My motion was to combine.
oh,
and we
sorry, I
need-
apologize. Thank you,
We need
sir.
another
It's a
motion to
motion to
approve.
combine. Now I need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the
Second.
grants.
So moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we'll move on to additional appropriations, reductions, and transfers, and at this time, we'll open the public hearing concerning additional appropriations. Item A, Fund 1,000 General requesting $751,171. First on that, under that item is the parking garage appropriation for $600,000. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's moved.
So we're at discussion?
We are,
Yeah.
sir?
So this, we spent $400,000 to make the plans for the parking garage, which would be technically the first money we spent on this particular project some months ago. So this $600,000 is to prepare the lot, move the employees, whatnot. Does anybody here know, and Steve's here and one commissioner, can anybody assure me on this deal, it was $4.5 million for the lot, $9.5 million for the garage. We added $2 million to the garage to put another floor in. Can anybody assure me that we got $4.5 million for our lot?
My understanding is that Mike Howard had worked through that, and that is the case. Now, I have not gotten anything other than,
Steve, Commissioner Harebrant,
Well, for this application right here, the 600,000, you should have received a breakdown of what.
oh, I know what these costs are.
He's
but
going
We're
back to
getting
that
started
other-
on a project.
you're thinking about the
Okay, no,
other.
I get, so your issue's not about this item.
I think he's wanting
It's
just
on
clarity.
this project.
Gotcha.
He's wanting clarity around the note, I believe, that was sent to council. And I think it was 225,000 that were, if you remember.
Mr. Beaver, I can assure you, I had a conversation with Mr. Howard today, and he is very confident the $4.5 million will be priced for the property for them to take.
That's all I needed. Thank you. So I have no problem with the 600,000.
Well, I want to be clear that everyone got the memo I sent around because that was what was shared to me by Dan and Steve as far as a breakdown of what the 600,000, because going back to where we were discussing programmatic costs, this is a listing of items that they are known costs for future work, but it's also budgetary items for what we refer to in the industry as unforeseen conditions. As soon as they go in and dig into that ground and they come across something, that might be something that they don't necessarily know is there, and that might have additional costs to it. And so we've itemized the things that we know that are in here, and we've given an estimate for the unknowns that we anticipate we'd probably run into. But I just want to be clear with everyone that until you open up that ground, you really don't know what's down there.
Do you know of unforeseen Indian bones, Ken? Is that what you're saying?
I do not, but I have been on projects that have been shut down by that. So
All right, I got you.
And he sent it on, if anybody wanted to revert back, it was on March 22nd, I believe you sent it, Ken.
Yep.
So, thank you for doing that.
Yep.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 2, the Auditor 144 Amendment, acceptance of the amended job description.
motion to
moved.
approve. Second.
So moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 3, Community Corrections additional in the amount of $85,307.29.
Ralph Watson's here if anybody needs
Motion
a
to
better
approve.
understanding.
Thank you, Ken. Is there a second?
I'll
Second.
Any discussion for Ralph?
Ralph, come up and tell us what you want the 85,000 for.
Basically to help with the cash flow issue until we get a check from the Department of Corrections. The challenge came when they decided to change our grant this fiscal year from a calendar year to a 6-month grant, and until they saw what revenue was going to be like at the state level. Well, when we put our grant together, when we put our budget together, we did not take into account that we would not receive that 85,000 that, which is a set figure that from the state until August. Well, if we don't have that, we're going to have a zero balance, cash balance in that account on June 30th. And that's something that I know the auditor does not like to see. And our intent is to take that check when it comes in, and we'll just move it right back over to County General.
So wasn't it last month that we were covering the state for not being able to hit the deadline with the Parks
I'm
Department?
not sure if it was state or federal, but it was not.
No, it
Yeah.
was the state. It was,
Parks purchase?
yeah.
Yep, there, yeah.
And
That is,
yeah, Brad, I'll stand up here and say that I cannot necessarily blame the state for this. When we had to change our budget from a year to a 6-month budget, we made some calculation.
So we're
errors.
gonna front the money out of the general fund and you're gonna pay us back whenever the check flows in.
Yes,
Okay.
and that amount that I'm requesting is the amount of the check.
Okay.
any other questions?
Thanks, Ralph.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item is the council additional for $16,863. It appears that there were adjustments.
Have you been spending money, Amy?
I think it was Fred.
Oh,
He's on vacation. No, I'm just kidding. So can I have a motion? It's regarding adjustments. to
Motion to
salaries.
approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 5, buildings and ground reduction. This is our solar savings for the quarterly. Is there a motion?
So moved. I like
Second.
reductions.
So moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 6, ISS 144 amendment, along with the acceptance of an amended job description and reclassification of position Pat B to Pat C. Do you need those individually, or can those are all together? Thank you.
So moved.
second.
So moved and seconded. Is there any discussion for Chris, who is here?
That move from Pat B to Pat C, that would be a reduction in pay, wouldn't it?
It's an
No?
increase. Given
No,
the
that
state-
would not be a reduction.
Oh.
We added a number of duties to that job based on an individual that left, the duties he was doing, and we worked with him just to say, okay, what were you really doing compared to the job description, and what is it going to take to recruit someone in that's going to be able to do those. So that's where we came to.
Okay.
And I do have a question, and I don't know if now's the time, but I would like to have some flexibility to hire above the minimum for that position, and I didn't know if that's a conversation we can have now, or I have to bring that again next month.
It would be another 144 amendment.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well,
There's your
I
answer.
mean, you guys can give them that flexibility, and I can change this. It should put it on here.
Okay. Yeah, and I didn't even think about it.
I don't have any problem
I'm
with
not
that.
opposed.
Yeah.
So can we have the motion amended?
Whose motion was it?
Amendment. So Sue's motion, I would need you to amend in order to allow the flexibility to advertise above the
Okay,
minimum.
I move to amend the motion to allow flexibility to hire above the minimum job or salary.
And then, thank you. So it's been moved and seconded. Is there any other discussion for Chris or anything else?
Yeah, I'll have to look at the range again and see where Steve was.
I can tell you where he was.
Okay. That's
'Cause
probably,
You're within 10 cents of where he was, as it is right now in BL1.
I would think that.
Well, BL1
Oh.
puts you within that.
I know.
Okay, all right,
Go,
BL4.
yeah.
Oh.
Got it.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, item 7, EMA additional in the amount of $54,000. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
So moved and seconded. Any discussion for Shane?
Shane, what are you spending the $54,000 on?
The health department needs help with their logistics, and so we took that responsibility on for them to basically run the disaster logistics for the vaccine site. And not only are we running the logistical aspect of it, but we are then taking all of those procurement items that we are purchasing, and we are doing all of the requests for FEMA reimbursement, and which is at 100%. So we will get the $54,000 back through the FEMA reimbursement. And I'm proud to say that we already have 3 projects that have been submitted, And thanks to the auditor, the biggest part of that is the personnel costs that we're getting back. So that project has been submitted, and 2 of those, we're already getting our money. It should be really any day from FEMA for those other projects. So this is to help them out, and then also to do the follow-through to ensure that we do get our money.
And kudos to Dottie Carlson on my staff that has helped them with that.
I'm sorry, I should have said that, because Dottie has really done a lot of hard work. FEMA's doesn't make it easy for the personnel costs. There's a lot of fringe benefit calculation that has to go on, but that's really important so that we get all of our money back for those temporary employees that we've hired. And Dottie has really done amazing work with a fine-tooth comb to make sure that we meet all of the FEMA requirements. So thanks to Robin for bringing that up, and we do really appreciate all that Dottie has done.
Any other discussion with Shane? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to say Shane's EMA volunteers were out at the shred day at the recycling center we had a few weeks ago. And they've been there the last few times. They're a big help. They coordinate people coming in off Pleasant Street, and they actually moved them to a different location. They do a great job, and it keeps them from backing out on Pleasant Street. Everybody was happy. I spoke to a lot of the volunteers. They're happy people, glad to be there, and they're a big help. So
Thank you.
big pat on the back to your volunteers for getting out there and helping out.
Pass that along. Thank you very much.
Great job, Shane.
Thanks so
Thank
much. Item 8, Treasurer, we have a 144 amendment along with the acceptance of amended job description, reclassification from Comet C to Comet D, and a transfer. Do you need those?
You want to put those together on one?
Is there a motion?
Amy?
Yes.
Yes? So moved.
Second.
So it's been moved and seconded to put together. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Now we will move forward with the approval. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Do we have any discussion? This was given, if I'm not mistaken, favorable recommendation from personnel.
Yes.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 9, probation 144 amendment. May I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
I'll second.
So moved and seconded. Hello, Madonna. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing well, thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Madonna's needs?
How's everything down in probation, Madonna?
Made it through a year.
There you go. All right.
Doesn't look like we have anything for you, so all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion
Thank you all.
carries. Thank you. Item B, Fund 1053, Hamilton County Solid Waste, as requesting $157,000. It's an additional. In addition to that, there's a transfer of $1,000.
We'll really want to scrutinize this one. Leslie, come on down.
Can I get a
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
So moved and seconded.
You don't need Steve. You need to stand right up here and tell us what you're doing with your money. Now,
Right,
remember,
it's her-
solid waste has their own piece of the levy.
Right. So the money is just to ask for approval to use that money to add to as the budget. Where Director Wood got Browning Day on site to give us a quote for the engineering to expand our north building. Give us another 10,000 square feet of usable space. So this is to pay for that engineering cost. The program is getting bigger every year, plus with the Pleasant Street bypass that is coming through in expectation of losing our north building. That's what the engineering costs are for. And I did not include that in your packet. I'm so sorry, but I did bring copies of that if anybody would like a copy of that from Browning Day.
They're preparing for the eventuality that the two hangar buildings get knocked in.
Yep, and they have to have the new building built before they come through,
take-
and so we gotta get going fast.
Pick one.
there any questions?
I have none.
Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Leslie. Item C.
Relatively painless, what?
Item C, Fund 1186 Rainy Day Fund, reduction in the amount of $43,230. This has to do with 2021 budgets that were paid for by CARES Act money. Is there a motion?
I'll motion to approve.
Second.
Moved and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item D, Fund 4905, digital orthophotography, requesting $42,100. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
So moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. At this time, I will close the public hearing. And we'll move on to announcements. Mr. Sheriff. Thank you. Council Attorney.
Do you want to step up to the
Please,
microphone, young man?
please. We would love that.
For those in the audience that don't know, I double as a state rep in my day job. And there's been some significant legislation, I think, related to counties that's kind of coming to fruition here at the end of the session. I thought you guys might be interested in. Senate Bill 5 addresses the authority of local health officers and local health boards, makes some pretty significant changes that shifts a lot of power from local health officials to the commissioners. One is during an emergency, any health orders that are more strict than what the governor has implemented in a state of emergency have to be approved by the commissioners before they can take effect. The commissioners under this new law will be able to remove a health officer for cause. The commissioners must have to approve the hiring of a new health officer that's selected by a county health board. And business owners will be able to appeal to the commissioners if their activities are restricted at all by the health department for various reasons in an emergency and not in an emergency. So I think the thought from the legislature was to try to shift the ultimate authority, a lot of that stuff, to elected bodies, to elected individuals, so that they can take the heat for those decisions. So they'll like that. Senate Bill 186 is kind of a big prosecutor's bill that came before us, and I want to definitely thank Council President Masalamani for bringing it to my attention. It had some language in there that was not good for county councils that we didn't notice until it was brought to our attention. It was kind of slipped in late, but basically the prosecutors are a tricky group. They wanted to insert some language that said they could hire some new investigators and employees, and that the council could not reduce the salary of those employees or the overall budget of the prosecutor's office. So because of those efforts, I and a couple of the other, there's a couple of other folks that are pretty involved in county government, we were able to strip that language out. So that came out of the bill, which is really good news, I think. And then finally, I think one thing's really cool. House Bill 1558 creates a gun crimes task force in central Indiana, which is a really cool idea. It's going to bring in sort of the best and brightest officers from all the law enforcement agencies in Marion County and the donut counties, and they're going to standardize the way they process gun crimes and the way they use data, like sort of real-time data, to link crimes and criminals across state lines. And it's just a really neat program that's had incredible effects, and it's sort of our efforts at the state level to really kind of take on the rise in violent crime that we've seen in central Indiana. So cool stuff. I assume that the sheriff's office will participate, in that, and the state's going to provide some data analysts and an executive director for the task force. And it's going to be a really cool thing. So those are some of the highlights, but thought I'd share them with you.
Does anybody have any questions for Chris? We appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Madam Auditor.
Well, you made it so easy last month that I'm back again this month. And so what I have given you, I'm sorry it was late, is another request for a new position in my office for the grant administrator. And I've talked to some of you about, the necessity and the need. And so I am here tonight to ask if you would so feel to put that on your agenda, and if you approve that, then I will be back next month to catch everything up, and this would be a hire in July.
So I would need a motion to add to the agenda.
So moved to add to the
Second.
agenda.
So moved and seconded to be added to the agenda. All those in favor signify by
Aye.
saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. You are on the agenda. Is there a motion to approve her request?
So moved.
Second.
So moved and seconded. Do we have any discussion?
I think with the huge amounts of money that's been shoveled down from Washington to the county and compliance falls in Robin's office, I think it's more than warranted to get more person power on this particular issue.
Valid statement. Thank you, Brad.
Anybody else? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Do you have anything else for us?
No, I do not.
At this
And
point, we are,
you won't be coming back for an additional person on top of this person.
How about I'll say I hope not?
Okay.
at this point, we are adjourned.